Hello everybody, Gaming Reaction here, doing another ranking video, and this time I'll be ranking all the Godzillas, including Snow Godzilla and Ultima. So we're not including the Godzillas from the comics, and we're not including Godzilla the animated series from 1998 and the other Godzilla 1998 movie. So we're not including them, the ones you call Zilla or Zilla Junior, however you want it. So we'll not be including them. We'll be only including the true king of the monsters. Alright, so moving on with the 1954 Godzilla. Goat. Because I have to admit, seeing this design, including in Roblox, I used to play Kaji of Universe. I have to admit, it's a very, very, very awesome design, cool design. The best way to start the King of the Monsters franchise with this design back in the retro area, start the franchise. And I have to admit, I did not see the movie Godzilla 1954, but I have seen some clips. And when I saw this design from angles and scenes, he looks so awesome. There's no way to explain it. Now moving on to Godzilla 1955. Godzilla raids again. It's a bit goofy for me when I saw it and saw the full detail of it. And then when I saw it, I mean his body and dorsal fins were pretty cool, but his head was a little bit goofy. It goes "Die." Yeah, pretty much more like a troll face, I suppose. But I admit it was supposed to be, because the 1954s was a little bit hard to move around, I think. So they want to make this one a bit or how can I explain, like very moving around, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but you know what I mean, in that era. Alright, moving on to Godzilla 1962. Godzilla vs. Godzilla versus King Kong. Hmm. I admit this design, it's okay. It's alright. I don't hate it. I'm just saying it's it's decent. Now moving on to Godzilla 1954, Godzilla vs. Mothra. Again, I haven't some of the Showa movie of Godzilla I haven't seen yet, but some I do have seen like 7 times. But some of the Showa Godzilla I haven't seen, such as 1954. I have seen Godzilla vs. Kong one time after Godzilla vs. Kong 2021. I don't know. I really like the movie, but the design, it's not really. When I saw the design, it was not really that eating wasn't my cup of tea. Cause I want like it's very hard to. Well, never mind. Moving on. Alright, moving on to Godzilla 1964. Godzilla versus Mothra. Um, eh, I mean, it's a little. I mean, it's alright for me. It's okay. When I see it, it's okay. Like I said, this is my personal opinion. Godzilla 1965 from Godzilla Invasion. Like Invasion. I forgot what the title is called. Um, but I find this thing a little bit goofy for me. The way he looks in the film too, especially when sometimes he gets up in the crotchy area by Ghidorah in that movie. I forgot the title, but yeah, every time, especially the googly eyes, sometimes it just gets me. But in here in Godzilla 1966, Godzilla versus Ebora or the Sea Monster, mm, actually he's okay, not that bad for me. Godzilla 1967, Son of Godzilla, mm, it's not. I didn't enjoy it. I'm sorry. It's just I know some people quite might put it in the yellow, but for me it's just because of the head and his dorsal fins. Wasn't that best designed dorsal fins I ever seen, and the head kind of looked like a mushroom where people kind of see it when you see the movie, and I'm just not a big fan of that loop of the head. So yeah, moving on to Godzilla 1968, Destroy Monster Knife. This is one of the movies I've seen 7 times, along with Son of Godzilla and Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Just letting you know. But I think this one, mm, what? Can't remember. I don't remember. Mm, uh, it's okay for me. It's just not feeling that Godzilla feeling look. You know what I mean? Now moving on to Godzilla 1971. I think this one's Godzilla versus Ebora. Mm, actually, it's a little bit goofier a bit when I saw it in the movies when I saw Godzilla vs. Ebra in when saw this in the movie. Sorry, 7 times. Mm, I did like it three when I watched it 3 times, but when I noticed it, it has a little bit goofy, a bit goofiness, a little bit goofiness in the design. So yeah, just a little bit, because depending on the angle of the camera, that's what it is. The same when I feel that's what I feel with Godzilla 1962. Just the camera angle showing. Yeah, I say it's okay with the angle. How he looks pretty cool. That's what it is. Now this one, actually this one's pretty cool. I have to admit. Godzilla 1972. Godzilla versus Gaian. I have to admit, he did look pretty cool in the movie. Just that one scene where his head is. But I'm not 100% sure if it was this one or the other Godzilla versus Megala. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. But it was just where the scene where I think it's Godzilla versus Gigan. I am not 100% sure, but it was like his mouth was like and his claws. Isn't it showing the shower era? He's popping out of the water, popping out of the water. I think he's with Angiers. I'm not 100%, but it just looks. He looks kind of looking like Barney, feeling looking happy, a happy Godzilla. But I'm not having said if it was this one or the one with Megalon. So I am not 100% sure which one it was. The scene. If you know what scene I was talking about. Now moving on to Godzilla 1973. Sorry, I meant to say 74. Godzilla vs Megalon. I admit I kind of like this design. No question further. I like how I know it has eyebrows. It's up like in a crossed way, but it looks very angry. King of the Monsters, very angry. Urgh. Hmm. I mean, it looks pretty cool, but especially in the angles the camera's facing of him. Very cool design. I said cool. I say it's perfect, but cool. Now moving on to Godzilla 1974, Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla. Um, it's actually decent. I don't know how to put it. Maybe it's that head. I like the body and dorsal fin, but it's just that head just bugging me. Now this one, the Terror of Mechagodzilla, was slightly better, much awesome, was awesome when I saw it in movies. Actually, when I saw it Godzilla, Terror of Mechagodzilla 7 times, and when I saw it in difficult angle, I got to admit he looks very very cool, showing that showing his head and very looking more serious, like a bit of seriousness and mean looking. That's what I like. Now moving on to the Heisei era. Um, Return of Godzilla, 1984. Now I never seen this movie. I've seen clips of it, but seeing just not a big fan of his head. That's all. I like his body and thing, but his dorsal fin. Mm, but I'll move it somewhere. Cause I mean, just a no for me. I mean, these three were just goofy, but this one was just no. I'm not a big fan of its head and its dorsal fins. But this is where we get much better. Godzilla 1989. Now, I'm gonna put us with decent just because I wasn't a huge fan of its head during Godzilla versus Biollante. He's a little yeah, I noticed he had a big lump in the movie, and also depend on the camera views you can see it. But I don't. But I love his whole body. It's just his head that ruined it for me. The same with 91 with Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Same thing. It's just that little puffy head. Now here's where we get much improved in Godzilla 1993, 92 to 1994. This is the best Godzilla improved Heisei of all time. I have to admit, every time I see it, I love that. I love this Godzilla Heisei version. Very classic. Very. Sorry. Sometimes I have something wrong. Ah, sorry. Yeah, sometimes I got a bit of a thing problem over here. So anyway, moving on. The true Heisei Godzilla 1992 to 1994. For I gotta admit, just go. I lost with words. I just love this design. The same with 1995 Burning Godzilla. No, this I can't explain. It's just awesome. Goat, King of the Monsters. Yes. But there's two versions of the Burning Godzilla, but this is from SH Monster Art, the special edition. I do like the normal edition, but I like the special edition where all his dorsal fins are orange or reddish color, all the way to the tail tip of the tail. This is the monster SH Monster Art Burning Godzilla special. That's what I'm just thinking. But in the movie with Burning Godzilla, you don't actually. I'm not 100% sure if it's the normal design with its orange all the way to the tip of all the way from his uh back or neck all the way to his tail tip, where it's all orange. Where half of his tail, his dorsal fins has a bit of a normal coloring, but just on his back, dorsal fins are just orange. On the normal version, but in the special edition, it's all or all orange dorsal fins. But I mean, I like them both. But the movie, can't complain. They're awesome. Just can't say Godzilla 2000. Now this was my very first Godzilla design since I ever played. Um, Godzilla Save the Earth. The same with the Heisei, but I mostly chose Godzilla 2000, even though, because back then when I Godzilla, I thought Godzilla 90 and Godzilla 2000 were two separate monsters, but they're still just Godzillas. I didn't know there were different designs back then. Since I ever played Godzilla save the years, and when I saw Godzilla 2000 this side, he looks very very cool. Like his largest dorsal fins and his body and face is perfect. He's awesome since his appearance in Godzilla 1999, then Godzilla 2000, and Godzilla versus Megaguirus. Some periods there's a difference between Megaguirus one and the Godzilla versus 2000 just because of the green. But I'm not 100% sure. They all look pretty sure the same. Maybe just the lighting on the screen on the movie. So I'm not 100% sure, but they all look the same. So yeah. Alright, moving on to GM. But I can tell you now that Godzilla 2000 is my favorite Godzilla design of all. What I really wish is to see Godzilla 2000 design um color reverse, like black and white dorsal fins and shoot blue classic atomic breasts. I mean, there is one in SH Monster Art version, which I do have. Um, yeah. Now moving on. And also it was also using Godzilla Rulers of Earth. No, sorry, Godzilla in Hell, the 2000 design. Because you gotta admit, it's so lost of word. Unless you're a person who um understands of the feeling of this design, Godzilla 2000. Now moving on to Godzilla 2001 GMK. I mean, it's actually decent. I do love his head and his dorsal fin. I love his head so much. Very scary, very cool looking, very badass. His dorsal fin's badass too. But the only thing is his tum tum. Have you noticed? I noticed he has a bit of a belly. I'm not a huge fan of Godzilla having a tum tum. Moving on to Godzilla 2002. I have to admit, this is a reversal of alternative version of Godzilla 2000, but with like the one I mentioned in coloring black, what I mentioned before, black and white dorsal fins. However, I noticed the heads are completely different and dorsal fins, not as long as the 2001, but I kind of like the 2000 dorsal fins better. Um, but also, if you didn't notice in the Godzilla Rulers of Earth design, that the little flick or checkmark design dorsal fin that have in Godzilla 2002 and 2004 in Final Wars was also had in Godzilla Rulers of Earth, just on very the top of the between the neck and the back of Godzilla of Rulers of Earth, and have Godzilla's the rest of it just 2000 dorsal fin. It's just the one little uh that one dorsal fin that Godzilla 2004 and 2002 had, the very top, and if you would notice, like the very between, it's like it's nearly in his neck, but like around uh it's like a little this kind of shape, um more like doesn't look like a check mark, but it's kind of like one of that design they have on the very the top of their on top of the dorsal fin. If you didn't notice, that's all. I'm just saying. I mean, I guess I mean it's perfect, just perfect, but not goat, goat. Just because the head, and also when he roars, his eyes just goes ooh googly. But when it comes to the head comparison, I prefer 2000. His dorsal fins, I prefer 2000s. So yeah. Now moving on to Godzilla 2004 Final Wars. I mean, this sounds pretty perfect for me too. Because after been seeing Godzilla 2004, I have no complaints. It's like a mixture of Showa and Heisei, but squeezing all combined. But the only thing I wasn't a big fan of was the color of his eyes. Cause I'm not 100% if it was like old, like white lens or red lens. He had in his eyes. Cause I thought he wish he had like the classic Heisei eyes in Godzilla Final War, so you get a bit of classic feeling. But above all, it's a very cool, perfect design. I like it's just the eyes, not so. But I think it's pretty perfect for me. Godzilla 2014. Again, the same thing with JMK, but I do love his dorsal fin and his head. It's just his body, his arm and legs, bit of a poofy. Hmm. Now moving on to Godzilla 2016, Shin Godzilla. Now I'm not. I know this Godzilla is a different version of Godzilla. Like he's very dark, and his name is Shin Godzilla. It shoots purple atomic breath compared to his classic. But we've seen other versions of Godzilla, like Space Godzilla, which I'll not be including, Mega Godzilla. But since this classifies Godzilla movies, I should count Shin Godzilla. I have to admit, he's so super cool. I have to admit, I didn't like it at first because of the poster was all grayish color of his head, but when I saw it was actually red and black, awesome. Maybe because it was in the poster because it was all gray, but once I saw his true color, the whole red, awesome, very scary, very a dark version, more dark version, evilish. Sorry, version of Godzilla. So yeah. Now moving on to Godzilla 2017, Godzilla Earth. Now a lot of people didn't like Godzilla's Earth design, like I say, but I have to admit, it looks pretty cool. Like in camera shots, well not camera shot because it was animated or anime, what people like to say. But I have to admit, he looks very cool. I'm not gonna say he's perfect, but he looks very cool because he looks like an elder version of Godzilla. That Godzilla ages like for I think they mentioned 3,000 years. I'm not 100% sure in the movie, but seeing like how he ages and he had like this tree planty thing on him, while he was aging, turned into an old man. So yeah, pretty they put detail of the character that Godzilla does age, and then he turns into this Godzilla Earth to 300 meters tall. Also, but they did use the same design Godzilla Phyllis, but I'm not 100% the story between those two. So I mean, some of them was a bit confusing. So yeah, I couldn't tell who was the original Godzilla. So Phyllis or Earth. But I think Earth was the original Godzilla in that movie in the first film, which I'm not 100% sure. But I think this design is pretty cool. He looks also in buffier too, and he's also the strongest Godzilla I ever seen. Ever since I saw Godzilla, the first movie of Godzilla Earth, Planet of the Eat, was Planet of the Eaters or something of I forgot the title. Damn it! But yeah, and also in the MMD version when versus Godzilla Earth was facing Mega Godzilla and Godzilla versus Void Ghidorah or Ghidorah, however you want to pronounce it. He was so strong, like his atomic breath was able to obliterate a mountain, stuff like that. It was so awesome. Like, like show Godzilla's Earth's true power. It's a shield. He can shoot atomic breath from his dorsal plates, like Shin Godzilla. Make his atomic breath more devastating, destructive ever. So yeah, and it fits because this is like an elder Godzilla, like he experienced battles before. like it shows his age and stuff. That's why it's pretty cool. Now for Godzilla 2019 and 2021, which I'll get to compared to the Godzilla 2024. Why I prefer this one, then I'll put him in good. I quite like this one. Actually, which I'll get to compared to Godzilla 2004, which I find him very decent. Godzilla Evolved and Godzilla and X Kong New Empire, which I'll get down to later. Moving on to Snow Godzilla, um, released releasing that anime film. Uh, he's okay. This one's actually tricky. I'll say he's pretty cool. I get he has that Heisei looking design, but very snowy. But I still don't like the whole snowy part. That's all. But I like the part how he looks like the Heisei, and I love the classics. The classics was so good back then. Brought me back childhood. I love the Heisei design. I just didn't like the snowy part. That's all. I prefer the good old colors, black and white dots of Finn shooting his classic blue atomic breath. Like I said, the classics were always the best days. Now moving on to Godzilla Ultima, released also in 2021. I mean, it's decent for me. I love his whole body, but there's one problem. I love his dorsal fin, but I didn't like his color having red in it. I wish it was like black or slate gray series, but for some reason it's red, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I love his white dorsal fin. That's what I really like. I'm just not a huge fan of that red dorsal fin. Because sometimes every time I'm playing Godzilla, Kaiju Universe in Roblox back then, I used to always recolor him, having his classic colors. Having sort of red but having black. And I love that having Godzilla's original colors. He had white dorsal fins, black body, sometimes yellowish um claws in his feet too, and white teeth, sometimes gold teeth, sometimes both white teeth and white claws. The old classic. But was disappointed with the red part, which really brought it down for me. Now for Godzilla -1, GOAT. Now when I saw this in the movie in 2023, I like how he looked like the Heisei Godzilla, but modern, like mixed with modern and classic at the same time, by using like that Heisei head and Heisei 1989 dorsal fin, but more sharper. And the color doesn't really bother me for this one for some reason. Even though I wish it was had the classic color, white dorsal fins, black body, yellow or white claws. Always have white teeth or yellow. Not 100% sure. But every time I see it, just no complaints. Even though I didn't mind the color at all, even though it's all brownish color, even though I prefer his classic color, but Hill design modern classic perfect. Now moving on to Evolve Godzilla, releasing Godzilla X Kong New Empire 2024. Decent, and here's why I prefer the 2019 or 2021 Godzilla. Just because his skin's a little bit darker, and Godzilla 2019 and 21, I just call him just default Godzilla, and I call this Godzilla Evolve. So the default Godzilla using 2019 and Godzilla X Kong in 2021. He's much darker, a slight grayish color, like a slight very darkish, resembling the classic where Godzilla was actually blacker. But in 2019, he was a little, and 2021, he was darker and had very Yeah, very dark, like show resemblance of the classics. Although all his color was just one color, all just dark grayish, darkish black, or like darkish reddish color. Not reddish, sorry. I mean black. You know what I mean, that kind of area. But in Evolve Godzilla, like I don't mind his dorsal fins being light pink or pink or whatever, but it's just his whole body is very lightish grayish brownish color. I just wish it was a little bit darker, so resembling a little bit of the classics, which I really love. But it's a very cool design. It's just the coloring of his whole body a bit lighter. I don't mind the whole um lightish pinkish color and stuff. It's just the color. He was a bit light. His color was a bit light, not a bit darker, which I prefer. He was a bit darker, so show a little bit more classic. But if he was like 2000, had 2000 skin and make the dorsal fins a bit purplish, he would be a goat. I promise you that. Or having a black and white dorsal fin, having the classic, he would be goat too. Just like the good old classic colors of Big G. So he's not my goat. I mean, he would if he did have those kind of colors, but so far, I mean, he's okay. He was a cool design, but just maybe just the coloring. So there you have it. My personal opinion of every Godzilla from Godzilla, not from Zilla or Zilla Junior or um the comic. I was gonna add the comic, but I just wanted to be like Godzilla from the movies and the um TV series, but not from like Zilla or Zilla Junior, Godzilla 1989, or the animated Godzilla. And talk to me like actual like Godzilla, like how he's supposed to be looking. So there you have it. That's my thing. I hope you enjoyed my video today, and I hope I get to see you in my next videos next time. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.